It wouldn't be wrong to call our guest on the show today a jewel of a person. With an A-list clientele, Maha Al Sibai has the Midas touch. She turns even gold to fabulous wearable art. Her designer brand, Maha Al Sibai Jewellery, has been grabbing attention and getting better with age as fine wine does. Since its inception, almost 15 years ago. We speak to this luxury jewellery designer who spends her day surrounded by gold, diamonds, and other precious stones. Hello, Maha. It's so great to have you here on the show with us today.
Hi.
Hi.
It's my honor to be with you, and thanks for the great introduction.
I'm so happy you liked it. So, what was your inspiration getting into this field? How did you first get into the field of jewelry design? I'd love to know that journey.
Oh, well, it wasn't really like a plan that I have decided. It was I can consider that the jewelry industry called me and dragged my attention. Mainly, I am an artist who love art. So I do sculpture, I do paintings, and I do interior design as well. Although my major in the university was a computer science, so it wasn't anything to do with jewelry or with art. But my art was my passion, and I've studied as well music. So, when somebody is so much into arts, it's very easy to sense the beauty of jewelry, because jewelry, I consider it is a combination between the art of God, what gave us in the earth, and the human interference. Like we add our own beauty on materials that we get from the earth. Correct. So the first beginning was with the World Gold Council when they launched their jewelry design competition over the world, and it was regional. So I gained the first prize on the Middle East. Wow. And that put me on the map of the jewelry design. I started working with many big companies as a freelance. And then after 7 years of working and studying gemology, diamond, and all about jewelry making, I started my own signature in the year 2006.
Okay, beautiful. That's so nice. I actually love what you said about, how you're using something that God has given you on the earth and then adding your own touch to it. That's so nice. That's such a beautiful way of thinking of jewelry design that I wouldn't have thought of. So who is your inspiration? Is there some person in the jewelry design world, or is there someone from your life who has inspired you on this journey?
Well, I can say that inspiration can come from anything beautiful that you see or you touch or you sense. Like the artists use all the senses. So honestly, I cannot say it's one thing. It's a combination of so many things. But maybe if we're talking about a person, I was raised in a house where my mother used to love making her own jewelry. She wasn't a jewelry designer, but she used to go to the jeweler and ask him to do this and that. And, she creates her own combination. And because of the environment that I was living in, my dad was a diplomat, so we used to move from place to another. And that gave me richness in the input that I get from beauty from all over the world. And we used to collect so many gems over the world. Every country has a different source of those gems. So it was an environment, but as you know, the jewelry making wasn't at that time something that you decide to do. Usually it is a family thing, so you inherit it from your parents or grandparents. Or for my generation, it was something really like thinking out of the box. Entering this field was almost impossible because, as you know, it's a very protected career that is very secretive, and nobody is going to allow someone else from out of the industry to come in and learn about it. So it was a big challenge.
So yes, that's actually going to be my next question then. So what were the first few first few years like being a jewelry designer? Because I can't imagine it would have been very easy, especially since, like you said, you don't have a family history in this field and it's a very tough field to crack. So what were those first few years like? And what would you probably tell the Maha back then, what you know now?
Well, I can say that I was lucky enough to by chance enter this competition to really put me on the track, because I got a lot of offers from companies who were keen to have a fresh-minded designer. Like their designers used to follow the trend and follow whatever is available already in the market. At that point, there was a big move in the industry in terms of the designs. They were in need for some new ideas and so. And personally, coming from art field, so I had a lot of richness in that sense. I was lucky that the competition put me on the track. Actually, it was impossible to think of moving from art to jewelry unless I got those offers. And
Okay.
later on, I discovered that it was a big challenge to cross the borders and to get to know more about how to make jewelry and how to be a jeweler, how to evaluate your piece of jewelry. Like when I did my first collection, it was very difficult for me to price them or to give them like a range of price. I'm not a trader and I'm not expert in that field. So yeah, it took me step by step to learn about even the market, how they do think about these things.
Correct. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So, like you mentioned at some point of time, you were talking about trends, how people generally just follow the trends that are already there. So, what do you feel like right now are those trends that you see in the market? And do you tend to like try to adopt something from there, or do you just stay away from them and do your own thing? I would love to know.
Well, there is a guideline. Like for us as designers, there's a guideline, because you want to give your own view on the trend, and you want to make a new input. But in the end, of course, you need to satisfy the taste of people. So you don't want to just have them as I have some pieces actually which I consider, when I make them, I know that they are not to be sold. They are just art pieces. One day, a different person with a different thinking would come, and it's a very emotional point when somebody comes for those pieces and asks that they want to buy them, because when I say goodbye to the piece, I'm so happy because somebody likes it, but I'm so sad to say goodbye to that. It's a conflict in the same moment.
Correct.
Um, for the lines that I do, I somehow I follow the guidelines. Like if, let's say, today malachite is on the trend, I try to use it, but in my own way. I never try to copy paste somebody else's work, or I just do it on my own. And
Correct.
I think today I'm about to let's say use some really old techniques in the jewelry field in a very artistic way, and I'm going to launch my new collection by 2 months from now.
Okay.
And I think for the industry it's going to be a surprise, because it was used. This technique was used long ago, and it stopped because of so many commercial things.
Okay.
And my own way to just rebirth this and put it on the new map of the jewelry design, the modern one.
Okay, that sounds very exciting. So, do you have any more details about this upcoming collection? Have you thought of a name, or is that something that you can't share yet?
Yet I don't like to share, because it has to be seen so you can know what I'm talking about, and maybe I will connect with you when it's ready, and we can do something about this, and we can launch it through your platform.
Amazing. Yeah, looking forward to that. So, again, there is, like you said, there is a thin line between being inspired and just straight out copying someone's work. Have you been on the other end of that, where someone has just, like, they say that they're inspired by your work, but they've just copied your work flat out? And how did you deal with a situation like that if you've had to face it?
Well, I really faced this, and there was I woke up in one day and I found like hundreds of messages of some clients and some friends who attended a function launching a new collection for somebody, for some new designer, and it was literally a copy paste of one of my lines. And it was surprising, like it was literally a copy paste. Okay. And, the fans of my collections, they were so angry about the situation, and I took it so easy, and I really didn't want to waste time on trying to track it or to find the reason or to sue the person, because I believe that moving on saves time and save energy, and time is responsible to filter the good work and the copies and the originals and the genuine designs. And this is exactly what happened, because it was the first attempt, and then it was forgotten, and my collection continued to be successful. And in this specific collection, until today, I have a waiting list. I'm all.
Wow, beautiful. That's good. I mean, it's good. Like they say, imitation is the best form of flattery, but I think you're not like, it just means that you're doing such a brilliant job that people are trying to copy what you do, and they can't reach that level because you've created it, right?
Thank you. I believe genuinity in feelings, when you have, especially in art, if you are a real artist and you have feelings, you put it in your artwork, nobody can copy paste it, no matter what, because they don't have the same feeling, even if they love it. But it's always unique. So time is responsible to evaluate and do the filtering process. So the good work will always be there in the minds, and the imitation and the artificial work will always be forgotten.
Okay, good. That's a good thought. I mean, that's something that other jewelry designers can also probably look at and learn from, if that's what, if they ever get to a point where someone copies their work. So over the years, you've launched many collections. What has been your favorite collection so far?
Oh, that's a very critical question. I cannot say there is a favorite, but maybe I can say that one line that I do is very much me. Like this specific collection is called Earth Madness. Each piece of this collection is a unique piece. I don't do it twice, or it's not like a generic or like a repeated designs. Every single one is unique, and the reason of that is because the stones that I use in this are sometimes rough. I use it in a very different way. That the way of using the gold is also sometimes in the rough way. So it's not really, I can name it on one of the art schools, like the abstract. So
Okay.
no rules, it's not symmetric. It shows the beauty of Earth, really the beauty of Earth. That's why I named it Earth Madness, because it's really like a crazy designs that shows how beautiful are the stones and the metals that are used. So this is me, like it's I change mood a lot, so I feel that this expresses my feelings better than any other collection.
Okay. Is this similar to those you had recently posted on LinkedIn? I saw a picture of 2 engagement rings. Is that from that collection? Because it sounds a lot like that.
Yeah, that's very
Okay.
much.
Okay, great. So do you remember, like, I think the first piece that you designed would probably be that piece for the competition, like you said. So was that your first jewelry design, or before that had you attempted to do something? And how are your designs different from then as they are now? Like, how is there any like big difference from how you used to go about the designing process back then and now?
Yes, there is a difference. I can say that the beauty of a person when he begins entering this career is the mind is not spoiled by the market. So you do what you love, regardless you're gonna sell it or not, regardless people will love it or not. You just express what you express, and that gives the special beauty about it. Today, after 22 years of working in the field, definitely my mind is very rich about the taste of people from different regions in the world. But on the other hand, of course, I always consider that in the end, I want to reach the most of those regions. So sometimes just trying to please the most number of people makes you follow kind of some rules, which in art doesn't apply. Rules doesn't apply in art.
Yeah, that makes sense. To be honest, like that's actually one of my questions. Now, you design mostly for the Middle East market, but in this market, like I think this is one market that has people from all over the world. So how do you cater to every single like nationality or every single ethnicity's needs? Because like we Indians, we like a certain type of gold. I've noticed Asians like a certain type of gold. Arabs and Indians have some little, areas where they overlap in terms of likes. But how do you cater for such a varied population?
Okay, first of all, living in Dubai, as you said, it's a multinational place. So you are in touch with most of the nationalities and you get to know a lot of what they like. Second, my life was full of travels. So I am in touch with different cultures. So sometimes combining those cultures makes the design richer and easier to reach more people. So, like I can tell you a story. I launched the latest collection, which is named Asala. Asala in Arabic means authentic. Okay, and this specific collection, I made a big research about the GCC countries and the area that we live in, and how the history of jewelry was. And studying this journey, it was starting, first of all, from the trade line between India and the GCC. So it is inspired, all the jewelry in, as you said, in the United Arab Emirates is inspired by having the sources from India and from the countries around it. So when I designed this collection, I had the stones that comes in between, in the areas in between India and Dubai, and I added a lot of images from the art that is in the that was used on the architect, and so it is a big mixture. And believe it or not, the first buyer of the first piece of this collection was a French lady. She love with the design. She thought it's a very unique. She didn't know the story behind, but she was at my window staring at the pieces, and she entered the boutique and she asked me to tell her what is the inspiration behind this. And when I told her the story, she fell in love with it and she bought the first piece on the first day. So this was staying in the hotel next to me. So it was just a great feeling to know that even people who comes from a very far away culture, they can taste the beauty of the pieces.
Correct. Yeah. That actually is the perfect answer for the question that I had. I mean, I think the beauty doesn't need to be catering to a certain type of person. If it's beautiful, anyone can love it, right?
Absolutely. I always say art is the common language between all the people on earth. Okay, it's not a speech that you. It's not a language. It is the common way of expressing beauty.
Beautiful. So what is a skill that, there are so many to list. So if it's like a factory manufactured piece for jewelry, okay, as compared to what a jewelry designer can actually give and offer to a piece of jewelry.
I want to tell you, in this industry, it's from the factory perspective, the retailer perspective, the art collector, it's totally different. Even in the same career, like if we are going to talk about the factory who makes only gold, they think in a different way than the factory who makes gold, diamond, and other stones. So it seems to be one industry, but they are totally different. So even the designer, when they enter factory who produces only gold, they have to set their mind accordingly. And that thing I faced when I worked for other factories, because they took me for a tour in the factory and they said, okay, this is our ability, you have to use it in your designs. Okay, this is what we can use and you have to use it. And then I was stuck, because actually when you do a piece of art, you cannot have so many rules. Okay, you have to feel the space of freedom in using whatever you want to use. So by time I was more flexible about accommodating, let's say, the wants of each uh, uh, part was factories and companies.
Okay, that's nice. So is there any client interaction in particular? That French lady story really like was so beautiful to hear, but do you have any other client interaction in particular that you remember, like something that left you really happy, because of something that you created for them?
Yes, definitely. Each my clients, they have different taste, and the most enjoyable part is when you deal with somebody who appreciates arts, or an artist on, himself. Like, I had a client for a long period of time. She used to buy my jewelry, and then she was so inspired to the extent that she herself studied jewelry design and started her online. Okay, and okay, she was struggling somehow because this is not only art; it's also business, and in the end, I was next to her, supporting her, her views, and so. But that was an enjoyable part, because in parallel of her designs, she was also buying my designs, and that was amazing. It's very enjoyable when you know that the person in front of you is understanding each line you are putting on the papers, and then creating the real piece.
So beautiful. That's so nice. Maha, I just can't stop staring. Can you tell me a little bit about the jewelry that you're wearing right now?
Okay, this is an abstract piece.
Okay.
It's of course, gold, diamond, and mother of pearl. As you know, today pearl is very much into trend. All the brands, they use it, and everybody likes the glow that mother of pearl gives. So it's a regular shape, and it's just abstract. As I said, abstract is the most interesting part for me, because it has a very big space of freedom.
So I've read somewhere that jewelry, it's always good to go based on your skin tone and your eye color so that it, sort of looks very, very beautiful. Do you believe with that school of thought? And what is your opinion on all of this?
I think, as for the skin color, gold, diamond, and stones, they suit everybody. It's not about that in particular, but I believe that you buy what you fall in love with. Like, it will glow on you because you are in love with it. So it's the relation between you and the piece that you are buying is very important. Like, I personally, even in fashion, I don't wear any piece that is only because it is into fashion. I have to love it, and it has to suit me. So it is in fashion or not, I have to fall in love with it. It has to express my feelings. So if it doesn't, I wouldn't wear it, no matter what.
So, how does the process work with you? I mean, do you design specifically for clients? Do the clients come to you, say, okay, this is a requirement that I have, and then do you start the design process, or do you just design and then they just approach you and you sell to them? How does it work?
Well, like my practice in the boutique is, I'm always there in the boutique, and this is in the Middle East nowadays. It's very rare, especially in a country like the UAE. You will find a lot of jewelry shops, but you will not find the jeweler inside the boutique. So the client is struggling because all what they deal is with the salesperson, and no matter what you train the salesperson, he doesn't talk about the pieces like, like a designer who really feels each and every part of it. So the practice is, I have ready collections that are on display, but the main practice is, I like to sit with the client who is coming to design a special thing, whether it was for them or as a gift. So I live the story of the love that they are coming to express it throughout the piece that they want to gift or they want to buy for themselves. So it is very emotional moment when you sit with the person and get what he wants, like what is their view, what materials they love to use. And of course, I do always consider the budget part, and I try to fit in my design into their budgets, because of course in jewelry it's unlimited. You can do a simple piece, or you can go up very high in the budget. As you know, the materials are costing so much, and the process of making jewelry is also costing so much. So I have to be wise, and I have to fit in all the needs in the same time.
It's interesting that you brought up the budget, because I don't know if this is being too intrusive, but I would love to know what is probably the most highly priced piece that you've sold, if you're willing to share.
Let's say maybe it was at around, let's say, at $200,000.
Okay.
200 plus. I don't remember exactly the number, but it was, yeah, one of those. I remember that it was for one piece of jewelry.
Okay. And what was it, if you can remember?
It was a ring.
A ring. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Okay. That sounds very nice. So there's this very beautiful quote that says, all that glitters is not gold. So what are those overlooked and tough aspects of being a jewelry designer that everyone doesn't realize unless you get into the field yourself?
We live in a very artificial time. Like, I believe that today is confusing us between the virtual life, between the reality, what is in fashion and what is the value of it, the real value of it, the old jewelry that we used to inherit from our parents. It's so many things that are confusing, the taste of people nowadays. Okay, and as you said, it's not about the glittery part. It's not about the what is it priced on the windows, but it's about so many real values, mainly the beauty of it, the story of making it, and where it comes from as a material. So many considerations, and I always like to add those stories into my pieces. And I like to talk about and explain how it was made and where it was brought from and what is the inspiration behind. Because in the end, I want the person who is buying this piece is to keep remembering the emotional parts of it, not only the value on the materials and the glow. And it's one of a kind, and it's unique. It has feelings, not only physical stuff.
Okay, that's lovely. Can you tell me a little about those awards behind you? I'd love to know.
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you. The first award I got is in 2001. That was the World Gold Council. And then I gained again the same prize on the first on the Middle East in 2000. I don't remember, 2 or 3, and some of the certificates, they are excellency certificates from Italy, Virtuosi, World Gold. What do we say? Yeah, a lot of those, and I have some trophies over there. I'll just share with you some of.
Wow.
Okay. So in so many occasions, I was also a jury member for many international competitions. The best of them, like I remember, it was during COVID, HRD Antwerp, they launched their jewelry design contest, and I was a jury member, and that was pleasure, because one day I was a student with HRD and I was studying diamond grading. So after all this journey, it was like a reward for me.
So what does the day in a life of a jewelry designer look like? Please give us a walk through the day in a life with Maha Al Sibai.
Okay. Personally, like I think everybody has different time scale.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm an early morning person. Like I love the first hours of the early morning. So I wake up really early, and
Okay.
I like the silence in the beginning of the day before it gets so crowded. Uh, I enjoy the crowd. You know, when I used to drop my kids in the school, you know, I used to see that most of the parents, they are so upset with the crowd and so on. For me, this was life. You know, this was something that is full of life. You know, having all these cars taking their children, you know, dropping off your children in the school, just thinking of all the day what they are doing now. Then I get to my office. I start my, if I want to start drawing, I have to prepare the atmosphere. I can't just switch on my abilities, you know, my art abilities. So I have to prepare the atmosphere. Basically, as an artist and as a musician, I like to start with some nice music that puts
Okay.
me into the mood. Okay.
Okay.
And I prepare my papers, colors, and so on, and then I start with probably I start getting from my safe some stones and try to think, okay, what do we do now? And you
Okay.
know, sometimes it's very easy to get into it. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort.
Okay, that's nice. That's beautiful. And till what time do you is your boutique open? Till what time are you?
We do officially open from 10 to 10. Sometimes I do open earlier before even the mall is open because I as I like the silence sometimes because it puts me in the right mood. And we stay from 10 to 10. And sometimes at night I stay even longer. I do have
Oh,
breaks of during the day. I meet people almost every day. I have a few appointments with clients and sometimes with suppliers. My day goes very smooth. Uh, I raised three children. Two of them are old, and the smallest one is always with me. She's this year she's studying online, so it's easy to have her all around. Yeah,
okay.
she's my inspiration at this moment.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. So I've heard that the luxury market, surprisingly during the pandemic, it did really well. Was that the same trend that was seen even with luxury jewelry in terms of jewelry design?
Actually, jewelry was the most successful one out of all the luxury, and I believe that the pandemic like give us a wake up call somehow about so many things in life, not only in our careers, but it was trying to remind us with so many uh, perspectives that the very busy traffic life was
Mhm.
making us forget about them. So one of them is, I can say for jewelers, let's say, they were not very much into the reality that the digital platforms nowadays is very important to reach people. And they were ignoring the marketing issues, most of the jewelry sector.
Mhm.
Fashion was more active than us as jewelers in terms of getting into online platforms and so. And during pandemic, of course, because of the closure in all over the world, so everybody had to make an effort to be on the platforms. That was one part. The other part is as a consumer, after staying at home for a long time, all of us, we started looking at what we have at home. Okay. So, um, you know, like I noticed that many friends, because I do trade also some artwork other than jewelry. So they
Okay.
started asking me, can you send us what paintings do you have at the moment? Because we are staying at home and we want to surround ourselves with beauty on that. And they wanted to spend more time on having those elements around them. So even they wanted, like ladies, they started looking at what they wear at home. They wanted to wear their jewelry. And again, there is a very important element that looking at what we buy every day, most of what we buy is disposable, like you throw it away. Okay.
Mhm.
Even you throw it away and it has no value after some time. even if you didn't use like fashion. If it is in the closet for a couple of years, you're not gonna wear it the third year. Okay, as a fashion. In jewelry, it's totally different. The more it's old, the more authentic it is, and it has more value. Okay, so that added a lot of aim of buying more jewelry because they have value. It is a security. Gold was raising, the gold price was raising, diamond price is jumping, and people start to give to trust jewelry sector more than any phase before that in the, let's say, in the past 10, 15 years. So what we noticed in the industry that people were really wanting more jewelry. They believe if we want to spend on something, we have to spend on something that has value over years, over time. So that was our side as an industry.
That's nice. That's good. That's good that you all saw that uptick and people started recognizing your value so much more. So what is your long-term goal for the brand, the Maha Al Sibai jewelry brand?
Well, I can say that my dream is to be more international and to have a small, not a small, maybe a big, let's say, selling point in most of the countries. That's a dream, and I'm walking on the steps on that. I have no idea if I will reach or not. I'm not a big company, but I'm a very active person. So I'm working towards that. And whether I reach it or I don't, I enjoy the journey.
That's great. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get all the success that you deserve for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was so lovely speaking to you. And like I said, I love the pieces that you're wearing. So beautiful. I will definitely pay your store a visit, even though right now I may not have the budget. In a few years' time. Hopefully, I will be able to buy something, but I'd love to come meet you someday.
It is always a pleasure to have you, and I hope that you can visit at some point. And that is having these Zoom meetings was one of the positive results of this pandemic.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show and spending your time. I'm sure you're having a very busy day, and we feel so nice that we got to be a part of your day today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.